fairly niche horror series by Full Moon Features that has garnered quite the cult following since the late 80s. Although that can be said for almost all of the Full Moon horror library. We've got Tourist Trap, the Ginger Dead Man series, the Evil Bong series, and countless other B-movie-esque horror films that have captured the hearts of horror fans everywhere. So, why am I talking about Puppet Master? Well, recently, as I was perusing the free-to-play section on Steam, I came across a fully licensed, free-to-play multiplayer horror game based on the Puppet Master franchise. A few hours later, I was hooked. I haven't stopped playing the game since, and I've even bought several of the cosmetic-only DLCs to support its development. As a person who loves the asymmetrical style of horror video game, but hates the competitive nature and toxicity of the big one, this was a huge refresher for me. Because the game is still in early access, it doesn't have a very large player base, but those who do play it seem to be playing it for the same reasons I am. The lighthearted nature of its multiplayer gameplay, and a love for the Puppet Master movies. Before I get into why this game and its source material are so cool, make sure to check out the description for a link to the game. It's completely free to play, fun as hell, it pays great homage to the movies, and the developers are looking for genuine feedback while the game is still in early access. Anyway, I'm going to start by talking about the main movies in the series, which there are 14 of as of 2022 with the release of Puppet Master Dr. Death. I'd like to preface this section by saying that I haven't fully seen all 14 of the movies. As of right now, I've only seen the first 6. This part of the video is really meant to give a general overview of the series as I've seen it so far, for those unfamiliar with it. If I feel motivated enough, I may make another video covering all of the movies one by one in the future. Anyway, Puppet Master is about a few different things. Living puppets imbued with souls through the use of ancient Egyptian magic, puppet masters such as Andre Toulon who create and oversee said living puppets, and killing things. Mostly thieves and Nazis, but sometimes totem hellspawns and predators. It's really a mixed bag in the killing department. Generally, the movies are surprisingly good plot in the shade of puppet murder and green magic serum, and I love them. A majority of the time, the puppets are actually the quote-unquote good guys in each movie, which I find to be really unique given the standard formula for a sentient doll/puppet horror series. The puppets also have distinct personalities and traits, which I have found to make these movies for me. I especially love the stop-motion animated sequences that get done sometimes to show the puppets moving. The supporting human characters in the movies can also be surprisingly good. My favorite by far has to be Dana Hadley from the first movie. She's quite the cynical person Hey now.
I'm not a cynic, Frank. I prefer to think of myself as a nasty bitch.
Alright, to summarize, the Puppet Master movies are really fun. I recommend you give the first few a watch if you haven't seen them before. My personal favorite is the third. I'll leave a link in the description to a site where you can watch all 14 of the main movies completely free in the US, as well as the side movies like Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, another Full Moon IP. Onto the game. So, much like Friday the 13th, the game, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out later this year, Puppet Master the game is a passion project. It has a dev team of I believe 2 people, so it's much smaller compared to the first 2 games I mentioned. However, that does not stop it from being a fun experience oozing with love for the series. Full Moon Features, the producer of the movies, published the game as well, so there shouldn't be any legal issues in store for the game's future. So what's it like? Well, I have to start with a disclaimer. Again, this is in early access. Whatever I show in this video is subject to change, so please keep that in mind going forward. As of right now, there are 2 modes in the game. Multiplayer, with the mode titled Thief, and a single-player mode where you play as a puppet and complete a series of objectives to unlock lore-based journal entries. One of the developers I've had the pleasure of interacting with over Discord has indicated that there will be more multiplayer modes available as the game develops, as well as more playable characters, maps, and character faction types. Thief is a game mode that supports 2 to 4 players, 4 being the most optimal. It consists of 1 human character who can be a bot if you'd like, versus a team of up to 3 puppet characters. The playable puppets at the moment consist of Blade, Tunneler, Jester, Pinhead, Leechwoman, Torch, and Six Shooter. The playable humans consist of the Axis Agent, Dana Hadley, and Neil Gallagher. Each character in the game has different stats and abilities to utilize, and there's a unique perk system where you can use XP to create, equip, or scrap different perks for your characters, both human and puppet. The objectives in Thief are quite simple. The human's objective is to collect 3 pieces of evidence randomly scattered around the map, fend off the puppets, and escape using the elevator. The puppet's objective is to kill them before they're able to do so using their various abilities. This formula is chaotic, fun, and even tense at times if you're playing as the human and barely manage to get away. At the moment, there are only 2 maps, but again, because it's in early access, there will be more added in the future once the game is in a more complete state. I think it's really worth giving it a try, even though it is still in early access. A couple more things I wanted to highlight before wrapping this little essay up. The developers have indicated the game will remain free, and the only paid content will be purely cosmetic DLC, which is especially cool because the outfits that come with the DLC currently out are based off of actual Puppet Master merchandise from the 90s. Very nice touch. There are also free cosmetics and emotes that can be purchased with XP in the game if you're into that. The game also features 27 Steam achievements if you're an achievement gremlin like I am. Overall, I think this game just drips with potential. As a new fan of the series and Full Moon Pictures as a whole, I think it's a great addition to the Puppet Master franchise, and with more multiplayer and single-player content coming in the future, and advertising once it's evolved out of early access, I think this game will become a fan favorite. That about covers what I wanted to cover. Thanks for checking out the video, and make sure to look at the links in the description if you're interested. Have a nice night!